Do you need to be vegetarian to become enlightened, self-realized, spiritual? The answer is absolutely not. The reason why you don't need to be a vegetarian to become self-realized is because you are not the body. Food is for your body. You are not the body. So the food you eat ultimately has no effect whatsoever on your self, on your spirit, on who you are truly. You are not the body. Food fuels the body mind. Your mind is part of your body. It's an organ, just like your stomach, heart, anything else. Okay? We often think of our mind as not part of our body, but it's not the case. Your mind is part of your body. Who you truly are, yourself, your spirit, is consciousness. So the food you eat has no effect. The food you eat certainly have effect on your body. They do not have an effect on your true nature, your true self, your spirit. You are consciousness. Got it? All right. So I'm glad I got that out of the way. I'll tell you who I am. My name is David Scott Myers, aka the Red Wizard. I'm a spiritual medium, educator, and visual artist. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because at a very young age, I'm 40 years old now, but at a very young age when I was in high school, when I started learning about spirituality and meditation, I got way too caught up in my diet. And I thought that my diet was like super important because my influence was like in Hinduism, Buddhism, and yoga, and the ascetic practices that the different monks would do, where they would maybe eat vegetarian, or they would eat very little. Okay, those of you in the Christian tradition know that certain monks eat in certain types of diet, and I think John the Baptist lived off of locusts and honey. So there's a lot of distractions out there about like what you should be eating, and particularly those of you who are interested in mysticism. Many of us try to get into altered states by eating little or eating like certain things and stuff like that. That's ultimately like all a huge distraction. All right. And I really don't want you guys to get caught up in that. You are consciousness. You are the supreme self. And your body is just a ride. Your body is just like some clothes you put on to be living on planet Earth at this time. Now, we want to take good care of our ride. We want to take good care of our body. And needless to say, some of the foods we eat can have a positive or negative effect on our body. We could literally slowly kill ourselves with food. We could actually kill ourselves with certain drinks, alcohol, drugs, and things like that. So we want to take good care of our body, needless to say. And we want to be good, functional, strong citizens on Spaceship Earth. So really the question you want to answer for yourself is, what can you budget for to make yourself healthy and strong and functional? Okay? That's really all you have to answer for yourself. And the moral or ethical decisions that you want to make about eating meat or not eating meat, that's totally up to you. Okay? There are regions of the world where human beings have been consistently eating a ton of meat, like in high mountaintop villages in the Arctic and stuff like that. You gotta eat a lot of meat and fish to live. Okay? And places where a lot of these vegetarian diets originated, like in India, like there's a ton of fruit and vegetables and herbs to eat there. And some regions don't have that kind of thing, right? So if you are curious about why certain spiritual paths are vegetarian and why some aren't, I'll just give you a quick rundown. In Hinduism and Buddhism both like originated in India, and in Hinduism, in their holy scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, a deity, says like, hey, if you want to offer me anything, any food. You could offer me, and he lists a few things like, I think like grain, leaves, fruits, water, and maybe milk. And he doesn't mention meat. And another thing to understand in that spiritual path is that anything that's a conscious being is considered to be part and parcel of God. God is transcended through all of us. Okay, we're all just God with skin on spaceship Earth, hanging out, experiencing the world. So God is transcendent, and therefore we don't want to inflict in that spiritual path. You want to inflict the least amount of pain you can on any being. Okay. I'm not an expert on Buddhism, but I believe, Buddhism was kind of originally a branch of Hinduism, and it branched out. And the original Buddha was not a fan of the ritual killing of animals for the sacrifices in the temples, and so he said nay to that. He said nay. Isn't that a song? Sorry. So that's the big thing. Now, many of us, those of you who grew up in the Abrahamic religions, this is Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Where did those religions originate? The desert, guys. Guess what? You could have goats, camels, and other animals grazing on bushes and weeds that we can't eat, and those animals convert that plant energy we can't eat into protein and fats. Dude, that's food you got to eat if you live in the desert, right? So we could see culturally it would be kind of ridiculous to expect people that live in high mountaintop Arctic regions or the desert to say eating meat is like some kind of sin or something like that. That's the food that's around. And don't quote me on this, but I believe even the Buddhist monks in Tibet, I don't think they're vegetarian because they live way high up in those mountains, and they need to count on those animals in the mountaintops converting grasses and scrub to meat and fat to eat. So, that's kind of the cultural, geographic, and religious context. Now, this video, the purpose of me making this again is I don't want you to be worried about it, and guilt yourself out about being vegetarian in order to be spiritual. My path originated at a young age with yoga, Hinduism, and Buddhism, and those were paths that recommended a vegetarian diet. Okay, I could tell you without a doubt that you do not need to be vegetarian to be spiritual, to be self-realized, to become enlightened, so to speak, because you are not your body. So let's get that right out of the way. Let's see, there was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, yeah, so vibes. Let's talk about vibes for a second. I want you to know that I personally have practiced almost every kind of vegan and vegetarianism you could for years. I started being a vegan when I was about a sophomore in high school. I'm 40 years old now, and I've been vegan for years. I've been vegetarian for years. I've gone the complete other way. I've gone I've did paleo, and that was huge. That was many years later. And I've been raw vegan for years. Okay, that was some hard work. And ultimately what really that just did for me was just gave me just straight up disordered eating, and I was, as a mystic, I was infatuated with the ascetic traditions of the different monks of different religions, right? We've all seen pictures of the super skinny sadhus in India that meditate all day, and they eat a very limited amount of food because they're trying to give less power to the body. Okay, and then we've all heard the stories of John the Baptist living off of locusts and honey. So there's these fun romantic stories about eating particular things to reach higher states or whatever. But to be spiritual, to be to become self-realized, to be enlightened, We don't need to go to higher states. We're trying to realize what we already are. And what you already are is spirit. You are consciousness. I use those two words interchangeably. Food is for the body. That's what it's for. Eat the food that will keep your body healthy. And yes, I encourage you to make moral decisions, budgetary decisions that you feel comfortable with. I think it's kind of undeniable that if we all ate a little bit less of red meat, we would help slow down global warming. Like, do what makes you feel good, but don't guilt yourself out for eating meat, or don't beat yourself up about your diet, because like ultimately it doesn't matter. Now, having said that, your food is for your body, and when you're starting out with like a meditation practice or a spiritual practice, like you want to have an even mind and you want to be healthy. Honestly, any of you starting out in a spiritual path, the first thing I would recommend is that you just kind of eat right and exercise. Again, it's got nothing to do with you actually becoming self-realized. You already are God, you just haven't realized it yet. Let's get that out of the way. But if you're feeling depressed and you're all whacked out and your sleep isn't right, you got to get that dialed in first if you want to start like a meditation practice or something like that. Okay. I look at the body as like big gears. We've all looked inside of like a clock or a watch before. Okay. The body are like the really big gears of the clock. Okay. Your mind are the smaller gears of the clock. Okay. It's much easier to crank a big gear and get these smaller gears moving the right way we want. It's real hard if we want to take the smaller gear of the mind and like get the whole system cranking and going. Okay. So if you're down in the dumps and part of you wanting to become spiritual is to be happier and feel better, start by exercising and getting the right amount of sleep. You guys are so lucky. There's so much information on the internet for that now. When I was growing up and you wanted to like gain muscle, like, or get fit, you had two options. One is you could talk to your football coach, who always seemed to have some kind of deranged advice, or you could get one of those muscle magazines out at the store, and like all those dudes were on steroids. Now there's so much information online for healthy eating, healthy exercise. Okay. Just go there and find it. Okay. So yeah, exercise and good sleep, that's going to make you feel better. Okay. And let's just make one note about food real quick. So let's use an extreme example to talk about how food can affect the mind. Affect the mind, not spirit, affect the mind. It's very obvious that some foods get us all hot and excited, like coffee, for example. We all have different sensitivities. I was not even allowed to drink Coca-Cola when I was little, so that could tell you how wound up I can get. Certain foods are going to affect your body in a certain way, and if you're trying to like make yourself calm and even, then certain foods are not going to help you with that, like caffeine, okay, or alcohol. That is a roller coaster. All right. And in the opposite of that, foods that are calming and cooling would be things like water, cucumbers, melons, okay, healthy whole fruits and grains and things like that. Those are calming and cooling foods, okay. Foods that I think are not good for having an even mind would be foods that, again, caffeine, but also like super processed and like high sugar foods where you're like skyrocketing your energy and crashing down. So again, so that I just talked a little bit about exercise, food, dietary choices, just to give you a little framework of if right now part of your journey is just trying to be happy and having a kind of even mind, even awareness, then Try to eat healthy and exercise, and avoid foods that are going to put you on a roller coaster. But please remember this: you are God, you are spirit, you are consciousness. The food you eat cannot affect who you truly are. Okay? That's the most important thing. If you feel good and part of your devotional practice is being vegetarian, or you want to try vegetarianism, that's awesome. Go ahead. Go eat some of that really fire Indian food. It's the best food on the planet, okay? Go for it. But don't beat yourself up. You already are enlightened. You just don't know it yet. You haven't realized it yet. So don't worry about your food. Okay. Thank you for watching. I want to do a couple plugs. One is, and there's a link to there's a link in the description to this video. I have a free 3-part video series where I teach 3 different kind of meditation practices that you could learn if you want to become self-realized. It's called Unlock Peace, Energy, and Clarity. It's totally free. You could find the link in the description below. Another thing I'm offering is I am a spiritual medium. Okay, I can communicate as a clairvoyant to the other side, and I'm offering 1 or 2 spots a week where I'm doing private readings. You could find more information and contact me by following another link in the description there. So I hope this video is very helpful for you guys. Just be at peace. Understand that you are self, you are consciousness, you are God. Don't beat yourself up about the foods you eat. Okay, guys? Peace.